It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. One of the most critical factors for success in implementing Agile has to do with the human factor. It's understanding the importance of how teams are built, how they're cultivated, how they're developed, and what we can do with those teams as they continue to grow and evolve. So, if you can lock down the significance of team dynamics and learn to foster an agile environment that nurtures collaboration, innovation, and productivity, you're going to find that you have the right dynamic for proper Scrum teams. Agile project management, it's a whole array of different ways to plan and guide project phases and process. It's a collection of different frameworks that allows you to choose the tools that are going to be best implemented for your organization, both culturally and practically, to help you deliver a high quality product or service. The key here is that it involves or empowers the teams, the people who are building the product or service, to work swiftly and collaboratively on projects while remaining adaptable to evolving, changing requirements. It also facilitates rapid response to feedback, enabling adjustments to be made during each sprint or product cycle. An agile project can or cannot be finished. Let me explain what I mean by that. So, some projects are date driven, in which case, of course, they end when a date arrives. But other projects, they are not, and they're not necessarily finished until they're finished. And what I mean by that is if you are working on a project and it's moving in a certain direction, but then there's only one thing certain about projects, and that's they're going to change, right? So it's one of these things that if we see that things are going to be changing, that it's going to be dynamic, and that's going to be moving parts, we need to be able to adjust with it. We need to be able to plan and guide those projects successfully. If we can divide the project framework or the project work into multiple shorter cycles, sprints, or releases, what we're going to wind up with is something that flows a lot better. So this helps the teams work swiftly and collaboratively to make sure that they remain adaptable, and it helps facilitate all the response they need to get things done. So an agile project is usually finished in small, manageable, bite-sized chunks, much like other agile projects that have been done in the past. Specifically for software development, there should always be we should refer to a single cycle of growth. We're trying to move in one direction. So the project teams should be able to quickly assess each segment of an iteration and should be able to comprise themselves with various stakeholders, information, gather the insights gained from the critiques, and use that as a basis for determining the next subsequent steps in their framework. Agile project management emphasizes working in small batches, visualizing the process, and engaging with end users to gather feedback. This focus allows us to do continual releases, incorporating input that we received from each iteration by our stakeholders. So I'm getting to what physically happens, but why is it important for us to include the human factor? Here we go. Although Agile primarily revolves around iterative process and adaptive planning, it's also crucial to acknowledge that the human aspect provides the greatest value in Agile. So when Agile is successful, it hinges on processes and tools employed by dynamics and interactions among individuals and teams. So if you think about how important it is, the significance of team dynamics, it becomes pivotal in fostering the environment where psychological safety rules and radical candor conversations can exist. So here are some factors that warrant your attention, for example. Synergy and effective communication throughout the team. Conflict resolution and facilitating collaborative efforts and understanding facilitation skills. Empowerment and motivation. Notice I didn't say enablement there. Good Scrum Masters empower their teams. Trust and psychological safety, which we just discussed. And a continuous path for learning, a continuous path for growth. If you think about dynamic teams, these teams have a huge impact on the project's success because of the way that they work together and they collaborate. The complex web of constants, connections, and behavioral patterns demonstrated by all the team members is often called to or referred to as team dynamics. This is a skill. This encompasses the skills of the people, their communication styles, decision-making styles, and how to handle conflict resolution. The ability of a team to work closely together, innovate, and foster a positive culture that significantly changes the world is really what iterative teams are about. So, with that being said, I think that we need to also address that team dynamics are influenced by several external factors. Let's talk about some of those. So, it could be everything from knowledge and experience among the team members to a degree of psychological safety and trust they feel that they have, to their capacity for successful communication, leadership style that's being used when governing a team, team size, team makeup, co-location, or remote work. There's just lots of dynamics that play into how we can factor in whether the team's going to be successful or not. Also, the team should have a relationship between the dynamics and the project outcome. Let me explain what I mean by that. In Agile projects, team dynamics substantially impact the project's outcomes, but when a team works well together, has a shared understanding of the projects and objectives and what they're trying to do, and they communicate really good, they're more likely to produce a high quality product or service, and all the restrictions that are left can easily be lifted. They can move forward with a happiness. Collaboration, creativity, and problem solving skills are all enhanced and supported by a dynamic team. And that, of course, enhances your odds of project success no matter where you go. Let's talk about how to build a strong team. How to build a strong team with strong team dynamics. There's a few things you need to do. First, you need to foster a culture of continuous learning and improvement. You have to give people an opportunity to learn and grow and progress and see what they can do to overcome whatever culture's in their way, and help them to move forward and to really get a head around or get a hand up on what's going on, so that we should foster a climate where members want to share their ideas. We should foster a continuous learning and improvement place where people are in a growth mindset, that they're offering skills improvement opportunities as a company to your associates, that you're identifying and sharing best practices. All these things foster a culture of continuous learning. What about shared goals and accountability? Teams that are really aligned and work well together have shared goals and accountability, period. A shared feeling of purpose is facilitated by clearly outlining what the project's roles and responsibilities are, the objectives for the project, breaking it down into manageable size chunks, and understanding how we're going to tackle the work. The team interactions are further strengthened by encouraging frequent progress updates and by holding proper retrospectives. So the daily stand up and, of course, the retrospective, those are your two biggest meetings that can help change things. They encourage open and effective communication. In Agile projects, a strong team dynamic is essential for success. Team members should be able to express their thoughts, issues, and criticism openly and publicly. Shouldn't matter. So do keep that thought that in order for us to be successful, that we should have this alignment with goals and accountability, right? Okay, let's talk about effective communication. So in Agile projects, a strong team dynamic is essential, but part of that is that you need to be able to really openly speak about things. So better communication, forcing constructive discourse, encouraging active listening, and using proper channels for communication are all incredibly important. And finally, last step for building a strong dynamic team is establishing trust and psychological safety. I brought it up early. This is the environment that's essential for people to work together. They need to have team working agreements and understand how other people feel and share their ideas and openly talk about what they feel. And honor agreements. Be fair and respectful to everyone communicating, and try to figure out where they are before you push yourself or push your agenda on them. And help people to understand what is happening and be respectful of their time as they should be respectful of yours. So there you have it. That is the how to build a strong team dynamic section. But I also wanted to talk to you real quick and just remind you that, a lot of teams come to me and they say, well, Lee, we want to organize around Jira, or we want to organize around Monday, or we want to organize around DevOps, Azure DevOps. And what I can tell you is that's a bad move. While those tools are great, if you organize the way you do work around the way a tool is promoting you to do the work, you're basically just supporting the tool and not supporting your teams. So I think part of this is get your teams up and running how you want, and then select the tool that best aligns with the way the team behaves. So team dynamics are just critical in Agile. They're crucial. And if we can't have strong team dynamics, that means we're going to lack communication, we're going to have difficulties with conflict resolution. It's going to create bad times. So, with this huge adoption of Agile project management techniques, especially recently, it's crucial for teams to really feel like they can effectively organize tasks, communicate, and collaborate using whatever tool they're using, and making sure they understand how to get things across and built in a way that makes sense, so that the stakeholders can be most pleased with the outcome and not just the output. That's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to cover, learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.